Hello everyone, welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army. So today's video is going to be about 5 excellent gentlemanly fragrances for men. Before we get into that, if you've been watching the channel recently, you may know that I've been invited to cooperate on a new fragrance and promote it on behalf of a gentleman called Vlad Bully, aka Dr. Kramen's Bulovich. The fragrance is called Swordfish. There's been some extremely silly and dubious emails coming from him, but despite this, I've decided to make him a promo video for Swordfish. Here it is. Let me know what you think. Swordfish. Swordfish. Hello everyone, welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army. So today we're going to be having a look at 5 extremely classy, gentlemanly fragrances for men, and I think it's fair to say that these are 5 slightly unsung scents in the online fragcom, so I hope you're going to enjoy that. Today's video is sponsored by my friends over at Notino UK. I highly recommend that as a superb place to shop for fragrances. There are some great prices there, and you'll be able to find all of today's 5 fragrances there. The links are in the description. If you're elsewhere in the world, you may have a Notino where you are, or if not, I think you should still find these fragrances of interest. So let's get stuck into the list. 5 excellent, classy, gentlemanly fragrances you can very much wear today. Here we go. Number 5 then. These are in no particular order, but we'll count down from 5 to 1. Why not? It's Parfums de Caron, an absolute classic fragrance. First released in 1934, the historic French house of Caron, maybe a little bit of an unsung house next to your Chanel's and Guerlain, people like this, but another really excellent French fragrance house with some fantastic releases, things like Yataghan from them as well, have a really great reputation. This one is one of the most perfect and quintessential lavender fragrances for men. It has this wonderful, beautiful lavender note. Other notes, depending where you look, the actual Caron official site simply lists lavender, vanilla and amber accords. On Fragrantica, or no, was it base notes? We had lavender, rosemary, bergamot, lemon, clary sage, rosewood, cedar, vanilla, tonka, musk and moss. And all of those things may well be in there, but the overriding dominant note that anyone will recognize is a beautiful, crisp, sort of fresh, sweet, a little bit bitter at the same time lavender note. Photorealistic and so great. If you love the note of lavender, you should love this fragrance. There are other things going on in here. There's a certain sort of green bergamot freshness about the opening that hangs around, and there is this underlying kind of sweetness from the vanilla and a sort of musky undertone. Very, very old school smelling, very pleasant, very classy to me. For some people, it's going to be not their thing. It's a hit and miss kind of fragrance. A lot of people might find it a bit too heavy on the lavender, stuffy, dated, maybe. But for me, sometimes a great one before bed, a cozy night in, spray it on your jumper. I think it's classy juice. So Parfums de Caron, an absolute sensational classic, 1934, and it was Ernest Daltroff, the perfumer, for this long-standing great. Moving forward in time then, well, backwards in terms of the name, we've got this one. It's Histoires de Parfums, 1725 Casanova. A beautiful barbershop fragrance, often compared to Invasion Barbar by MDCI, and there's a kind of a similarity, but I wouldn't say that's a just comparison really. 2001 was the year of release. We've got the notes on the bottle here, rather interesting bottle design, quite like that. It's of course named after Casanova, the famous 18th century Casanova type figure, and of course that word meaning a bit of a lover man, a romantic, someone who's successful in that field, stems from a real historical figure whose name was Casanova, and he lived in the 18th century in Italy, I believe. Notes on this one, we've got bergamot, citron, pamplemousse, that's grapefruit, réglisse, I'm good at French, is licorice. We also have a star anise note, there's lavender in here, vanilla, bitter almond, cedar and amber. So a lovely powdery barbershop type fragrance with quite a certain amount of lavender, but not as much as the last fragrance. And I think the twist in this one is it's almost a semi-gourmand barbershop type scent because of the addition of licorice, a little bit of bitter almond, and a certain sweetness coming from vanilla in this fragrance. It's powdery, a little bit dandyish. It's got this sweet, sensuous nature. It's very much a unisex fragrance, actually, I think. But certainly, if a man wears it dressed up, it will give you that very gentlemanly, dignified, but kind of a little bit sweet. And but if you like the note of licorice or star anise, maybe you get it a bit in Rive Gauche Pour Homme, for example, from Yves Saint Laurent. But this exaggerates that element of that fragrance, and a little bit more sweetness is going on in here. A powdery, beautiful, sweet, but sort of fresh at the same time barbershop type of fragrance. Yeah, the grapefruit note and the bergamot in the top does give it that lovely freshness when you first spray it. I absolutely adore this stuff, and really good prices for this online at Notino UK, actually, well under £100 for a 125ml bottle. I think that's a steal. So great fragrance. Let's move on then, and we've got another one next that I've not mentioned before on my channel. This is by Etat Libre d'Orange, and the fragrance is called Je Suis un Homme, which means I'm a man, I think. This one is themed after or inspired by Napoleon Bonaparte, the famous French ruler. It apparently takes its inspiration from the fact that he used to like to spray on cologne before battle, doused his boots with it apparently before he rode into battle. So a man after my own heart, obviously, Napoleon. Even in the heat of battle was thinking about how he smelled. And Je Suis un Homme is listed as a citrus aromatic, but I think it's rather more than that. I've got some on my hand there. Notes in this one, quite interesting. We've got bergamot, orange, lemon, myrtle, cinnamon, clove, cognac accord, leather, patchouli, and what is listed on one of the websites as animal notes. So there's an animalic and leathery undertone with a lovely citrus cologne type top. So apparently I think Napoleon used to like 4, 7, 11, and it's got a little bit of that kind of fresh, gentlemanly cologne opening, but underneath that there's this leathery, a little bit animalic undertone, which makes it very masculine and very testosterone ridden, as you would expect from a fragrance called Je Suis un Homme. You could compare it a little bit to Coros from Yves Saint Laurent in that it's got that leathery, animalic, musky undertone, but it's a much more refined, dignified, genteel sort of version of that kind of scent with a bit more citrus, Acqua di Parma style colonia notes in the top. So very, very gentlemanly, a little bit more rugged, a little bit of an alpha male gentleman, but certainly a very refined and delightful complex fragrance with a really nice note listing. I don't pick up actually on the cognac supposed boozy note so much, but there is a little bit of spiciness in there as well with the cinnamon and clove. Delectable, elegant, and rather refined stuff. So Etat Libre d'Orange, Je Suis un Homme, and again good prices on Notino for that one. I got the 50ml, and I think that was priced at £57 for 50ml, which for a niche fragrance of that quality, I think it's a steal. There's a 100ml bottle too. Okay, next up then we've got 2 left in my 5. This one I've mentioned on the channel quite a bit this year, and this is Fiero from Xerjoff, from the Casamorati range from Xerjoff. Many people have remarked that this has a notable similarity to vintage formulas of Dior's Eau Sauvage, which can be no bad thing at all. One of the all-time classic citrus aromatic fragrances, and that's how I would classify this one. I've got a 30ml bottle here, and what a fantastic design this one has. I absolutely love that. The greenness of the bottle gives us a clue. It was Chris Maurice who created this in 2010. Notes are bergamot, blood orange, lemongrass, lemon, mint, tarragon, neroli. I'm not listing all of them, but there's also vetiver and sandalwood and a little bit of nutmeg. Beautiful melange of citrus notes in the opening, very, very fresh. There is a little sprig of mint in there, which you don't get in Dior's Eau Sauvage, and you may well pick up just subtly on that, but the overall impression of it is of a delightfully well balanced bergamot freshness with some musks, some genteel kind of woody notes mixed in nicely with, I think there might be some Hédione or jasmine in there. It's not listed as a note. That's also one of the key notes in Dior's Eau Sauvage, and I always love it when that's in a fragrance. Really, really fantastic. More on the citrusy end than the other ones, but something rather classy and gentlemanly for sure. A little bit old-fashioned Colonia style in the smell. Absolutely stunning stuff. Great performance on that one. I should have mentioned performance. Caron Pour un Homme, very good in performance, almost annoying if you don't like lavender, so beware. Je suis un homme, also good but not incredible, and I would probably say the same about 1725. Decent. I think perhaps if you're trying to smell gentlemanly, beast mode might not be what you want, so good performance in all cases, but not beast mode. Last but not least then, another one, I don't know why this isn't talked up more. It's Floris No.89, a total classic English house gentlemanly fragrance, apparently the favoured fragrance of Winston Churchill, former British Prime Minister, and Ian Fleming, the man who wrote the James Bond novels. This one, so yeah, way back in 1951 they released it. Bergamot, orange, lavender, neroli, nutmeg, petitgrain, rose, ylang-ylang, cedar, oak moss, vetiver and musk. It's a little bit like, maybe, in my mind, a cross between Acqua di Parma Colonia, maybe with Guerlain's Habit Rouge, which came later actually in terms of the release date. But there's lots of this lavender, beautiful citrus, and this rose note. Quite a floral fragrance actually compared to the others. So like a really old-fashioned but beautiful soap that you've covered yourself in. I think one review, it may even have been Luca Turin actually in one of his books, said it's a continuation of soap by other means, but it's a very gentlemanly, refined, floral, citrusy, woody, and a little bit of musk and oak moss. Nothing animalic in this one. Green, very much bitter and dry, not sweet, but with that tempered with that rather delightful rose note. Absolutely gentlemanly and refined and beautiful, and I love the bottle design on that too. So go ahead and check these out. The links are in the description down there below. If you haven't already signed up for the Mr. Smelly Private Members Club over on Patreon, it's just $2 a month, and I give you an extra video every week. If you join today, you can watch all the dozens of old ones that I've already uploaded. Great community we're building in there, and I'd love to see you in there. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of my picks and what you think are some of your favourite gentlemanly fragrances. I'll see you in the next video. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, it's starting to rain now. Let's project. Bye-bye. Smelly.